The bystander effect or bystander apathy refers to the tendency of people to take no action in an emergency situation when there are other people present. This phenomenon suggests that individuals are less likely to offer assistance in an emergency when other witnesses are around than if they were the only ones present. The origin of this concept was developed after the killing of Kitty Genovese in New York 1964. She was returning to her apartment when Winston Moseley grabbed and stabbed her to death outside her apartment, while 38 people looked through the window and did nothing. Neighbors did not step in to assist, and the police dismissed the call as a domestic dispute. Consequently, social psychologists studied the phenomenon, and in 1969, John Darley and Bill Latané published Bystander Apathy in American Scientist Journal. The results of their work show that there are social factors that influence the three emergency management decisions that must be taken in these situations. The first thing that an individual needs to establish is if the emergency itself actually exists. If the individual is alone, he/she will take into consideration past experiences and training, but if he/she is surrounded by other people, he/she will wait to see how the others respond. The social influence can lead the whole group to ignore the emergency, take longer to react, or make everyone to believe that the situation is not as serious as it could actually be. This is called pluralistic ignorance, and it happens because when others fail to react, we tend to think that it is obviously not socially acceptable to intervene or that help is not needed. Also, the so-called confusion of responsibility argues that would-be helpers refrain from helping a victim in the presence of others because they might appear as to them as the perpetrator of the victim's suffering. The second decision is related to the individual's choice of what is the most appropriate action. The more people present in that situation, the least likely is an individual to feel personally responsible about it, causing what is called a diffusion of responsibility. The individual assumes that either others are responsible for taking care of the crisis, or they have already done so. For an individual to take action in the first place, they must presume a higher level of individual responsibility and feel capable and competent to help. The third decision is defined by the situational factors that are contingent to the emergency. These factors are beyond the individual's control and can restrain them from acting. For example, Darley and Latané found that individuals were less likely to act in the presence of strangers than in front of friends, or that people who knew the victim were much more likely to respond. These two factors are related to the perception of group cohesiveness. Also, the ambiguity of the situation can affect the individual's thoughts. According to Hudson and Brookman, the term does not refer to a psychological mechanism, but it is applied as a convenient shorthand to refer to four related mechanisms. 1. Self-awareness. An individual's awareness of other people's presence can affect his/her decision to act because of the fear of taking the wrong action or looking foolish in front of them. 2. Social cues. Individuals are constantly looking around for cues in order to adapt their behavior properly to a given situation. If everyone who is present is not doing anything, they will appear as a big passive group and will inhibit the individual from acting too. 3. Blocking. When an individual thinks that another person is taking action, they will stop themselves from acting. One bystander's action will block other bystanders' actions. 4. Diffuse responsibility. Not to be confused with the diffusion of responsibility. Here, when the number of people that can actually take responsibility of the situation is small, the sense of responsibility of each individual gets diffused, making each individual feel that there's not much that he or she personally could do. Thus, simply being or imagining being part of a group is enough to activate the bystander effect. In conclusion, the greater the number of bystanders, the least likely is that one of them will help. The most evident examples of this phenomenon are bullying or domestic violence, situations where it is really difficult for a person to feel the need to intervene. However, many other somewhat clear cases are also resulting from the bystander effect, such as inhibition in class participation or cyberbullying. Being aware of this can help us give a better understanding of these situations where help is required and motivate us to take action. Regarding the future, we live in a century where we spend more time in social media than in reality, unconscious about what is going on around us. Considering that the bystander effect occurs because people observe each other before helping, social networks and aggregated likes play a main role as public signals. By innocently liking posts or comments, people can contribute to determine what the correct collective response is. The sad part of it is that people like content with no obligation to actually intervene. So every day we see tragedies happening or inadequate behavior taking place online. But from the many millions of living human beings, how many do something about it?